I passed the Indian Point nuclear power plant a number of years ago, travelling on the Amtrak train going into New York. These huge industrial sites in the landscape have a perverse kind of majestic beauty for me, and I photographed it. And then I later discovered that the plant is not without its controversies. During a residency at the Clay Studio in Philadelphia in 2013, I collaged my image of the nuclear plant together with details from old engravings to recreate this pastoral landscape with the Indian Point power plant in the distance. A few years later, when my friend Paul Holdway, the former head engraver at SPODE, indicated to me that he'd like to create an engraving of one of my images, this work came to mind because it directly references those early 19th century landscapes. It was a good starting point. We agreed on this new pattern for a small cut plate. I made a mock-up of the design I wanted him to engrave with a wild rose board around it, probably from about the 1930s. He was not overly impressed with this detail, noting that the rose stems were coming from the wrong edge, and he proposed an alternative oak leaf border that featured on a series of early 19th century transferwares. He also suggested replacing my original cows in the collage with two based upon an early Boston State House transferware design. He likened the architecture on that pattern to the nuclear power station's dome. They always had to have some cows. I found this collaborative process to be really interesting because certainly in the 20th century, engravers given a new pattern to work on would then adapt the design and perfect it as part of their sort of professional brief. In many ways, they were artists, designers, as well as being consummate craftspeople. So, partly because of my friend, the copper plate engraver, we have the Indian Point nuclear power station directly referencing a 19th century transfer image of the Boston State House.